That's
did.
nice.
I just didn't
That's
think you were
nice.
older than me. Okay.
BlaK Radio. Listen, guys, pardon us. We a little late, but we here. We're happy. We're smiling. And you know what it is? It is we are introducing new shows on the platform. That's what it's about. Is growing, growth. And so this is our second new show. It's gonna air on 10/20/24. And we're going to kind of talk about it tonight. So I'm Queen. I'm a host at Black Box Radio. We are a multimedia platform illustrating Black excellence. We platform Black people. We expose Black genius. And more than anything, we disseminate information. And information sometimes go to other communities, but we do want it to land in the Black community. We are authentically Black. This is a safe space for Black people. And we do this maybe 4 to 5 times a month. Please get on the train, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, don't worry about our Facebook because I'm in Facebook jail again. I don't understand. I stay on death row. I came home and now I'm back. So I'm fighting for my own freedom.
I was ready to say, I was getting ready to say that.
I was like, it's crazy. But listen, go to our YouTube channel and subscribe. But definitely hit us up on our email at blackbox@gmail.com. Gmail.com, but also we have a website. Check out our website. You can leave a comment. You can get in touch with us. Our calendar will be up by next week. You can see exactly when the shows will be or when we're doing something in the community. So please tap in. We only grow when you guys participate. So please participate. So tonight, I'm just so excited. Like, growth is a beautiful thing. I've been humming on these airwaves. I'm telling you, these E streets for about this is my 5th year, Sister Davita. Just traveling
Congratulations.
these, yeah, just traveling these E streets. 1919 we started, and so in the 5th year, we're doing something new. We're bringing other voices onto the platform. So this is making spaces for Black faces, baby. That's what we're doing over here.
Like that.
We making spaces for Black faces. So listen, I want to introduce this young lady. This is a husband and wife team. So we got a little kink still going on. We go on next Sunday, but we will have Brother Indira with us. You will hear his voice tonight. We're gonna give him a shout out because he is the brainchild of everything. His wife will talk about this. So his wife is with us. Sister Davida, say hi to the people.
Hello, everyone. How you guys doing? Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate your time. Appreciate your attention. And we just have something amazing for you guys coming up.
Very, very amazing. So let's be a little transparent. So how did this all start? How did we get to the point where we're doing this new show? How did the brainchild, what did fighting for freedom come from?
Okay, so Fighting for Freedom is my husband's baby. This is his put together. His name is
His
Rodney Pitts.
brainchild.
Yes, this is his brainchild baby. So Rodney Pitts, he is incarcerated. He's behind the walls, and he wanted to provide a space, a safe space for
Mm-hmm.
individuals who are locked up, men and women, where they can come and showcase themselves. We have a lot of great, beautiful, wonderful, smart men and women behind bars, and people don't get to see that.
Yeah.
They hear someone in prison, they locked up, and all of these negative things come about. Prior to them being in this position, there are people, there's someone's mothers, fathers, children,
Yeah.
grandparents, and everything
Mm-hmm.
in between. So we don't want to let one bad mistake define them who they are.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my husband, like I said, he's been in prison a very long time. He went in at 21. I met him while he was in prison. I married him while he was there, and he's a great man. The things he's accomplished in prison, half of the people on the street haven't accomplished. And it's not a dig. I'm not putting anyone down. And people may say, well, they in prison, they got time. What else they got to do? It's a lot to do. Prison is an ugly place.
Mm.
Outside of
Wow.
it being an ugly place, no one really think about them after that. They're in there,
Yeah.
even the
They're
families.
castaways. They're put away,
Exactly.
stowaways.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Fighting for Freedom is a place where we want to bring them on and say, you know what, I made a mistake. This is what's happened. Let me show you what I've done since I've been in here.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of talented people in prison. It's a lot of talented men and women in prison. So this is their platform. This is their space. I wanted to be a safe space. It's not a
Mm-hmm.
space where they're coming and they're being retried. if they want to come and talk about their incarceration, and that's fine. But we want to hear from them. What are you doing that is great, that is marvelous? We want you to re-enter on these streets. We want you to be productive citizens and just
Yep.
have a normal or the best normal life that you can have. And fighting for freedom is just a start. This is just that the beginning of the beginning.
I like that. The
Yeah.
beginning of the beginning. Listen, we have to look at people who are actually muted. In our society, if you're different, you're old and elderly, we got a place for you.
Right.
If you have some mental health issues, we got a place for you. If you're sick or chronic, acutely, not chronically sick, we got a place for you. If
Right.
you have made a mistake or you've been at the wrong place at one time, we stow people away. So we're good at putting people in different boxes.
Right.
This is the society we live in, and it's not an attack on anyone, but this is the way it's built. And
Right.
so we put a lot of genius away in
We
prison.
do.
Let's be clear. It's a lot of greatness in prison and in the jail and the prison. I don't know the difference between jail and prison. I know there is a difference because
It
guys, oh,
is.
that's different. But there is a difference. But they're
I can
both places that are systemized to
right.
control human beings, and
Right.
their voices are muted. And what we want to do here is not to attack the criminal justice system. And
At
trust me,
all.
baby, it needs some help.
Yes.
It need a lot of help. It need a lot of revamping. But what we're here to do is to give the people who are actually they're applying this system to and how they're growing, because there's growth in the system if you want it. There's
Right.
triumph system in the system if you want it. There's things you can do in the system if you want it. And so we want to give those folks a voice, because when you
Right.
come out here, it's going to be heavy. So you got to
Yes.
set yourself up, and we want to hear what you're doing. We want to connect. We
Right.
want you to connect with your family. We want your family to
Yeah.
come up on here and listen, talk to you, and see you in a light, whereas you are sharing yourself. So, Sister Davida, I really I give you guys a lot of kudos for wanting to do something like that, because you got to look past yourself sometimes to do this.
Yes.
That's a service. This is a
Yes, it is.
service.
And
This.
these so far the men and the women who I've spoken to, they are so eager to come on. They have so much to say. They want to be heard. And
Wow.
one gentleman I spoke to, he was like, I haven't really spoken to anyone in society other than my family. He felt
Mm,
really nervous just talking to me on the phone, but he's still
mm-hmm.
eager, to get out here and be heard. Even we did like a pre-recording just to tell him what it was like, and I
Yeah.
let him hear it. He was like, "Oh my goodness, I've never heard my own voice before." So he was
That's
just
what's more than important is when you hear your own voice, it changes the
yeah,
game. You think you hear
exactly
your voice when you talk, but until it's
right. If you
recorded,
don't, yes,
you don't know how you
he was
sound.
like, he
Yeah.
laughed. He was like, "Wow, is that my voice?" I said, "That's you, brother. That is you." So one of the questions that you just had, you said you don't know the difference between jail and prison. So jail,
Yeah.
to my understanding, is prior to you being sentenced and given your time. Once you've been convicted, sentenced, and given your time, then you go to prison. Prior to that, you're in jail waiting for either to go to court or things of that nature, where you're still locked up and you just
Mm,
waiting to be sentenced or waiting to be finish your court case and stuff like that. And once you've been convicted and given your sentence, then you go to prison. It's called prison.
it's called
Um,
prison. Oh, you
yeah.
gave me a little education there. Okay.
Yeah. So one of the other things I wanted to talk about and sort of piggyback off of the fighting for freedom is that there is a push with the legislative session, a bill that we're trying to get passed. And Jill Carter, it's her bill. It's called the Second Look Act. Some people call it the Second Chance Act. And what she is trying to do and employ is give people a second chance. A lot of guys uh, have been in prison since very young. You have the juveniles who done committed crimes, 14, 15, 16, and they go straight to the adult prisons. Um,
Mm,
and we want to give them and other inmates, people who weren't, let's just say, necessarily juveniles, but were above the age of maybe 21, 22,
yeah.
who committed crimes and was put away for a long time. They want us to say, let's look at these guys, let's give them a second look. Some of the criteria with that is they want you to be infraction free for 10 years, meaning you can't have gotten into any trouble, get tickets, what they call it. You have to have
Mm-hmm.
like your GED or in school doing something productive. You have to at least have served 20 years of your sentence,
Oh wow.
and things like that. And then you cross off all these boxes. And then the
Mhm.
judge looks over your stuff and say, listen, okay, I either want to give you a second chance or not. Ultimately, the decision falls in the judge's hands, which is
Mm.
the sad part, because if you got 20 boxes on the book, on the paper, and you check them all off, why can't we
That
let
should be
people
enough. That should be
exactly
enough.
allow prison to be what it's supposed to be? It's supposed to be a place where you get rehabilitation so you can come back
Mhm.
into society and show that it works. So let's show that prison works and
Mhm.
let these guys out. Statistics show that if you have done 15 years or more in prison, the recidivism rate is low, meaning you will not come back out and commit another crime. There
Mhm.
will always be what you say, one bad apple. You know what I mean? But we
Sure.
can't punish everyone. So we're looking at it so that we can use fighting for freedom, support the Second Look Act, give these guys a platform, let them speak, let them be heard, show them that there are really good, hardworking, dedicated, smart, talented men and women behind prison. Let them come out and be productive citizens. What we do know, and what I have said, because I've spoken at, I went to the legislative session, I spoke. I've been to a few other formats and places and I spoke. And one thing that I said was, it is so much crime on the streets of Baltimore, PG County, the surrounding counties. What I do know is the men and women who've been in prison for 20 years aren't committing those crimes.
Ooh.
Also, so we know it's not them. So
Whoa.
holding them when we know they're not the ones committing the crimes, what's the harm for letting them out? And I also gave an example to a judge, and I gave it to him in the sense of, if your if the brakes on your car is broken and you need them fixed, whether the pads are low or whatever, how do you know that those pads are working? How do you know the new ones that you went to the shop and put on and paid a mechanic to put you back on the street safely? The only way you're gonna know is to drive it. You can't lock these people up forever and give them a sentence of life without parole, meaning they're sort of like the death penalty. We're not supposed to have it, but they replace the death penalty with life without parole.
Mhm.
And you want to put these people away and never allow them on the street. And we believe, which was why the Second Look Act was denied, because one of the House representatives didn't want to include the LWOPs, which are the life without paroles, and the bill sort of flopped. Um, One of the issues that I raised, and I spoke to another senator down in PG County, I said, you know, a lot of the life without parollers were actually offered plea deals, and they didn't take the plea deals, and they went to trial, tried to fight for their life, and then was given life without parole. So why is it that you can get a 60-year sentence offered to you, you deny it, fight for your life, you want your story told, you want to be heard, even if you feel like, you know what, I still might go to prison. I don't want the life without parole. Because when you take the plea deal, you don't get to tell your side of the story at
Mhm.
all. So I want my side of the story heard. You still go to prison. I get life without parole. You wanted to give me 60 years the other day. So now, after I've done 20 years, I can't get out. Like I get life without parole, almost like it's punishment for not taking a plea deal.
Of course, because if you plea out, they know how long they can control your time, your life and your
Right.
time.
It's so
Yeah.
so I
Yeah.
just I want the Second Look Act is crucial. It's important that we pass this bill. So the bill was denied, and it would have eliminated a lot of people. The way that one of the House representatives wanted to dress the bill up, only about 50 or 60 of the LWOPs would have been included. So I said, well, my thought on it was, okay, let the bill pass with only a limited amount of life without parole is able to get out. That way, we can show the senators, the House, that these guys are productive citizens. They are doing great things. A lot of the guys who gave their time back and they're out after they did 20 years in prison, they are business owners. They are,
Mhm.
thriving in the community. They have not done anything to go back to prison. And they are showing that rehabilitation works. So if we could have gotten the bill passed with the limited amount of people who would have qualified for the second look, The next year, we can add a little more to the bill and get a little more of people out. And every year, just keep adding on something. So one of the House representatives said, no, the LWAP's not going to be included. This group of people not going to be included. So the group of people that are included, let's let them out. Then the next year, we can add something on. The next year, we can add the LWAPs or whatever. And then everyone is included and no one is excluded. So with people coming in prison at a very young age, one of the things that they were speaking about is that their mind isn't mature. They don't know the ramifications or the repercussions of what they've done because they're young. So with fighting for freedom, those guys who went in at a young age, those guys who were sentenced to a lengthy amount of time and they've completed that time or have done a lot of that time, look at what they've done in an environment that was meant to break them. So this is the space that we want fighting for freedom to provide and to show. Let's show what they've done. Let's show their accomplishments. Let's show that they are not who they were when they went in and who they are now, right now. Prison is an ugly place. Prison is an ugly place. It's not meant to be a place for you to be comfortable. So in those conditions, if you can still thrive, if you can still get ahead, you can still accomplish some things, they only can be an asset out here.
It
How?
sounds like out here to me. Just unfortunately, I can't really
Right.
say
You
that
know what I
north side,
mean?
but out
So
here ain't too good neither. But anyway, I get what you're saying.
exactly. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
they can only add to um what we need out here. We really need strong men and women. Even if we can say one young kid at a time, get them on the right road. That's a win because whatever's happening and whatever plans they have in place right here to help these young men and women isn't working. It was a time when you wouldn't hear women doing the things that they're doing now. It's a cry for help. Locking them up isn't the answer. So fighting for freedom hopefully can be the platform where people can come, they can see, they can listen, they can put a face because we're going to put a picture up. We can put a face with a name, and they can say, okay, yes, this person has done some great things. They can be my neighbor. You know, some of these neighbors out here, not that the neighbors you have are bad. That's not what I'm suggesting. But what I am saying is you can feel comfortable and live next door to some of these men and women who've been in prison for 10, 15, 20 years. They are less
Well,
threat,
listen, I love it. I love it. I love
less
it.
of a threat now than they were maybe 30 years ago. None of us are who we were 20 years ago.
I love
I'm
it.
not even who I was 10 years ago, 5 years ago. You know,
I
we grow
definitely love
every
it.
day, we learn every day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
So,
I agree with you. So that you because you jumped right in, you went straight to the legislative part, but I still want to kind of talk about because we're kind of introducing what particularly you guys are bringing to the community. So
mhm,
that's real important is to talk about like you and Yaya. And listen, guys, we are figuring out how to get these guys live into the feed. We not only want we don't only want to pre-record, we really want them to speak. We really want them to be actively speaking in the stream. So that has been a challenge, and we're gonna figure that challenge out. We've been doing this for like 2 months, 2 3 months, right?
right.
Sis?
Trying to figure
Trying
this
to
out.
figure this thing out. But we're gonna figure it out, and I think we're closer than we were before, for
Yes.
sure. And
Yes.
so yeah, so we got some better tools, and we're gonna really put our heads together this week so we can bring these people to you. And we hope to get some women and some men. So first, I do want you to also give us some information how people can come on and be an actual guest if they know someone who's in prison, if someone is in prison. Is there an email? How do
It
people get in touch
is.
with you? Give me
Yes.
that.
So, Fighting for Freedom, we do have a Facebook page.
Hmm.
No, I'm sorry. It is
Instagram.
yes, it is Facebook. I'm sorry. My apologies. It is. It's Facebook. It's Fighting for the number 4 Freedom on
Mhm.
um on Facebook. And we also have an email. The email address is fighting for freedom at myyahoo.com. That is very important. Not just Yahoo, it's my Yahoo. So fighting the number 4 freedom at myyahoo.com. Reach out to us, send me a email, let me know where your loved one is, their name, If you don't know their ID number, like I can find that out. I can send them an application. They fill it out, send it to me. We vet them, meaning, so my husband is behind the walls. Like I said, he is the one who putting all this together. So when the information comes to me, I give it to him. He look over the individual. He say, okay, yes, this is someone. Not that we're turning anyone away, but we just want the people who are coming on are serious. We want people who are really working on themselves in prison. We want this to be taken seriously. So once they do that and we say, okay, this is someone, we'll reach out to them, ask them to send us a picture so that when we do that interview, we will have a picture up of them as they're talking and coming through the stream, so you can put a face with the voice. Um, if you have any questions uh, about more about the program and more about how we're doing that, you can email. Like I said, put that in the email. I will get back to everyone. Another thing that I wanted to say is
Wait,
not
say
only
that email one more time. Slow down on the email. Say that email one more time.
fighting for the number four freedom at myyahoo.com. That's the email address. Also, we aren't just showcasing, we don't want to limit it just to people who are in prison. If you are a public figure, if you are a family member, and you want to come on and, talk about something you're doing in the community that may help, someone in prison, someone who's fighting for their freedom, things that, you want to add to helping these young men and women, older men and women in prison, you're welcome to come on the show. um, we can't do this alone. This is something where we need to come together. We're going to need the community's help, because at some point these men and women are coming out into the community. If you have questions, you have concerns, also you can email me those questions and concerns. If you have any questions about um, what they may be doing in prison, it's a lot of programs that's needed in prison that they don't have. One of them is for the mental illness, for the people who suffer from mental illness. I'm sorry, they don't have a lot of programs for them. So when we talk about bringing these individuals who've been in prison a long time back into the community, we're going to need programs for them to be in, so that their mental illness is dealt with, because it's not handled right in there. So if it's someone out here to say, hey, these men and women coming out, if they need this type of help and assistance, we're here to help them. We don't want them to fail. They don't want to fail. But the system sometimes isn't even working for people who've never been to prison. People who've never been to prison, who's out here, who's hardworking, who's just trying to make it along the line, the system may have not helped them so much. So we want to put all of those steps in place. We want to put all those pieces to the puzzle in place, so that when these young men and women come out, that they are given the resources they need to function. Yep. So it
Okay.
doesn't just start and end with us. It's going to be a collective, collaborative effort from everyone.
Okay. So you guys will be, so will you be talking about like someone's case, or is this more of talking about what people are doing and what they're accomplishing? What
Well,
kind of focus is the actual conversation going to be on?
so we will definitely talk about their accomplishments, what they've done in prison, what they want to do post prison, what they want to do with their family. I did give them the liberties, because, like I said, this is a safe space. I don't want them to feel like they are being tried again. I don't want them to feel like that they are, being back in court. So I give everyone an opportunity to. If you want to talk about your case, we're here to talk about it. If you want to talk about the struggles you've had since you've been in prison, we can. What I did say is, I don't want to bash the prison system, bash the prison, bash the guards, because we already know that the treatment and certain conditions in prison just aren't good. Now, one situation I did talk to with a guy who was going to come on the show, I said, now, if, let's say, for instance, if you say, the bathrooms are horrible, but one thing we did do, me and some brothers got together and said, okay, this is what we're going to do to make sure the showers are straight. If you have an issue, but you have a solution, or would like to implement a solution, then we can talk about that. As my husband said, you only have a problem if you don't have a solution. So we can collectively come up with that too. What do you think can happen? What do you think we can do to sort of combat this problem? So the mic is open, the stage is open. We can open the doors and talk about anything that's comfortable for you. I don't want people walking away from their interview, from being on the show and be like, oh my God, can you believe? I want them to walk away inspired. I want them to walk away, with a plan. If they came on without one, if it's something that they're looking for that's positive, I want them to be able to come to this space, get it, and go back and be like, you know what? This is what I learned. This is what we did. This is what we talk about. It was a great experience. I also tell people you can come back on. If you come on the show and we talk about some things and we get some stuff off your chest and you feeling better and you feel like, you know what, I want to come back on because there's some other things that has happened or that I've done, you're more than welcome to come back. Also in this space, one of the things that me and my husband talk about is we're going to learn as well. We're not here just to showcase and to put people on and get everything from them. We are here also to learn from them. What can we do different to help you guys? If it's anything that we can do different. So we just want to be that voice for them. Come on, let's have a good time. Let's talk about some things, get some stuff. As I told one guy, let's get some stuff off your chest. It's some guys in there, like they said, have never spoken to anyone, and they are weighed down with things that they really want to talk about. So we want to offer them this space and allow them to, fight for that freedom.
Okay. And sometimes freedom isn't getting out of jail or prison.
Exactly. Exactly.
Sometimes freedom is your thoughts, is
Mhm.
getting some stress, is
Right.
maybe connecting with your loved one who, you might can bring on and you talk directly to. So it's ways to free people who don't particularly, they might be life without parole and don't think that there's a semblance of getting out, but also reconnecting, having your voice heard. People need to be seen. We're
Right.
all here, everyone wants to be seen, and
Right.
so it's very important that we don't forget folks because we continue
Right.
to put people in boxes. We put them
Mhm.
here, we put this one here, we put that one. If you're born with develop developmental disabled, they got a place
Mhm.
for you. If they,
Yes.
so everything here we got a place for people. We separate everyone from everyone. So
Yeah.
it is very important that we don't forget people. And the prison system, does America want to continue to be the largest prison system in the world? Um,
Mhm.
we got to look at that. Is that what we want to do? Our prisons are population is bigger than some third world countries.
It is.
We really got to
And
be very careful about putting people away and throwing away the key. And so
mm,
this type of avenue to me is very important. And I think is needed. Now we
it's
have to figure out how to make it rock.
right.
We
Right.
definitely want the we want the folks to be able to in real time talk to you guys, to him in real time. But we will have some pre-records because you never know. We do not control the feed from the prison. Remember that.
Right.
So and they have restraint. So we have to work within the states. They could talk for a certain amount of time. They got to get off. So we're gonna.
Right.
This is real time stuff right here, y'all. Real shit. That's how
Right.
I don't curse on the
Right.
mic, but this is real shit right here.
Right.
Because we got to do whatever the prison system has to control. We have the control of our stream, but they have control of their voice.
Right.
Our goal is that they would partner with us and
That
allow
would be
us to
great.
give the voice. Yeah, it will allow us to give the voice to the voiceless. That's
Right.
what we would hope. But our goal now is to not bash the prison, but to work within the prison and hope they would work with us on a whole and continue this type of movement. So I really like what you guys are doing. So tell me a little bit, because you jumped right into the policy and we know you the head legislative citizen in Baltimore
Not
City.
the head
I know your
legislative
yeah, I know
citizen.
your name is Davita
I
Annapolis.
like that
Uh,
though. The head legislative citizen.
yeah, yeah, you the head legislative citizen in Baltimore. So, but I want to hear more about you personally. Now, tell us who you are. You're from where you're from. I know you're from Baltimore, so kind of tell the people who they are so they can feel who you are.
Okay, so yes, I'm Baltimore, born and raised, bred right here. I got all of my education in Baltimore. I'm a nurse by profession. I'm also a caregiver. I take care of my mom. Um, and I have a son. I have a lovely husband. Um, and outside of doing that, um, a lot of my time now is dedicated to sort of this. Since I met my husband,
Mm-hmm.
I've learned a few things. I've learned a lot of things, and we have a business, and it's called Alcama Products and Services. Also, uh, with the products and services, a lot of things we want to add on. So,
Mm-hmm.
we're fighting for freedom. When a lot of the guys, when I spoke to them, a lot of them was saying a lot of things that they do need, a lot of the like education. We want to incorporate the products and services to give them certain services that they can get in prison to help them once they get out. But yes, I'm just a girl from Baltimore, East Side, Baltimore, chick, just living, trying to make it, trying to help, where I can to give back. I had a conversation with a kid, one of the squeaky kids, one day when I was at the stoplight holding up traffic, and he wanted to clean my windows. I didn't need them cleaned. I gave, it was about five of them out there, and I donated to the cause. And I said to them, I said, one of the things that you guys have to do is respect people boundaries. If people don't have it, they don't have it. I said,
Mm-hmm.
with that being said, I know the struggle out here is real. It's hard. I don't know you guys' story. I
Yeah.
said, but what if everyone thought the same way? What if everyone said, I want to be in the streets? I just want to not do the right thing. When you go to the hospital and you need a doctor, who won't be there? Because they in the streets. So you have to decide, make a conscious decision and say, what do you want your contribution to be to the world? What if everybody just wanted to be out here lollygagging? Who gonna build the cars? Who gonna make that squeegee thing you got in your hand to wash the window? Who? We're gonna be out here lost souls. You have to contribute to this world, to society in some form, even if it's just getting a job and going to work every day and doing that service. Everyone cannot be thinking the same thing. We won't have doctors. We won't have lawyers. We won't have school teachers. We won't have bus drivers. We won't have babysitters. We won't. Everybody just be out here looking crazy. I said, so take the time, think about what you want to do, and do it. So I say that to say, with me meeting my husband, it's not that I wasn't, donating time and giving back to the community. There was a time when I was in nursing school. I was tutoring at this place called South Baltimore Learning Center. But doing this, I feel like a part of me has woken up, especially since I see that there's a great need to help these guys and these women.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
it's only so much that you feel like that you can do when the system is so uh biased. I'll put it that
Mm-hmm.
way. It's a lot of brown and colored people in prison more than the other. So they
Mm-hmm.
need that support. They need that fight. It's so many groups and agencies out here to help us in the fight. One of
Yeah.
those agencies is called Life After Release, which is a organization that I'm heavily involved with. Um, so when you speak of me, I just want to help. I want to help. I want to help my community. And outside of fighting for freedom, me and my husband, we thinking about so many things that we can do to help not just those in prison, but those who are already out, who may be struggling with certain things, who may not be able to land on their feet just like it is. Because you can't even live in certain places once you've come out and you've had a record. You come out and you've
Yeah.
been in prison for so long. People don't want you living in their apartment complexes. People don't want you as their neighbors. And we just have to change that. We have to change that perspective. And it's not going to happen overnight. So as far as I'm concerned and the things I do, I just want to help. I want to help. I want to be that bridge. And I've met a lot of wonderful, wonderful people along the way doing this. Um, and they want to help us and we want to help them. And we can do it and we will do it. We're going to change the narrative. We are going to open some people's eyes, and some people's eyes aren't going to be open and they're going to be fixed. A lot of times people don't change their thoughts and their ideas about things until they're in a situation, and then they're going to need some help to fight for their freedom or their loved one. It only takes a second. So we're here, for those people who, why would you want to help somebody? We're here for you too. Call me up, send me an email. I'll tell you why I want to help someone. So We just here to be that voice and that avenue for those people.
Okay, well, it sounds. I'm telling you, it sounds amazing. I think, no, think the service, the breathe. When we breathe, our service is our rent. It's what we pay to live here. We should service others in some way, and everyone can do it in some way. So, this service right here is spot on. Giving the voice to the voiceless. I love it. I love how you guys are thinking. Listen, anyone on Facebook? Looks like I have a Facebook feed. We're gonna cut Facebook off because Facebook cuts me off all day long. I couldn't post on Facebook. I've been in jail, so they must have got me on pre-release center because I must be on a pre-release center
I'm
because
in
I don't know
privilege.
why I get, yeah, I'm at pre-release. So please go to the YouTube channel Black Box Radio because I'm going to feed and Facebook. So let me ask you a question. And this is a legitimate question. So, how does a nurse meet someone in jail
Okay, so
or in
they
prison? How
have
does that happen?
so I met him through another lady. Cause she is his mom, and I met him through her. Believe it or not, there are so many
Okay.
outside of that. There are so many like pen pals and all of these good things that you can meet someone through prison. So I met him, and I was just like everyone else, like I'm not coming to see you. I ain't taking no collect calls, like you know. And the more we started to talk, the more I got to know him. I'm like, like God, what in the world? He just showed me
Hmm.
things. He taught me things. He's extremely smart. He knows the Bible, by like the Quran. Like he's a Muslim. He's a devout Muslim, very dedicated. He on his deen. Um, and he taught me and helped me learn about my religion as well.
Mm.
And one of the stipulations, which is probably what really got me, he was like, "What's your his question? What is your relationship with God?" I'm like, "What? Well, don't be asking me what is yours." And like he was like, he don't even want to. He didn't even really want to communicate if I didn't have one or was trying to build one. You know, so I'm like, never. I've never met a man, dated a man, nothing who cared about my relationship with anybody other than him.
You better know it. You better
You know what I
know
mean?
that. Now that
And
that is
and
something.
he asked me, "Are you spiritual or are you religious? Like, what's the difference?" And he was like, "Let me tell you." You know what I
Mm.
mean? And that's the type of person he is. Even if you say something simple to him, like, "You always acting crazy," he'll go right to go to the definition and look up crazy in the book. You know, the dictionary says crazy is this, and I'm not. Something as small as that. I want the and then a lot of words he'll say, look up the definition of this word and not the regular look up how the law defines it, because you know law terminology, just like medical terminology, is different from regular terminology. So don't tell me what it means when you're talking to your friend. If I'm in a court, what does it mean? Like, boy, if you don't sit down. So that's how he presented himself to me. We prayed. He was
Mm.
like, did you pray this morning? I'm like, yeah. Did you pray? You know, and sometimes I'm like saying to myself, no. I'm like, I woke up this morning, was like, thank you, God, and you go on your way. You know,
Hmm.
you think that's all the time he get? I was like, well, babe, I did. I woke up, I said, thank you, God. You know, I was like, that's all he got. Like, he got to get more than that, you know. And I'm like, okay. And then he just got me to thinking, like, I am just not
Hmm.
as humble as I'm supposed to be. You know, I'm not as gracious as I'm supposed to be. So he brought those
Mm.
things to me. And I'm like, wow. And then the more we got to talk, the more like I'm like, this man is really smart. He knows, he went to school, he got criminal law, he got his paralegal, like all of this behind
Hmm.
the wall. Staying out of trouble. Yes, he showed off a little bit, but he's good. He's been infraction free longer than 10 years. Um, and it's just it's been a wonderful ride. You know, it's just like any oh, we get in arguments, we get mad. People say, what y'all got to get mad about? The same thing y'all get mad about. What are you talking about? You know, and we work
Yeah.
through that. He put protection in place. Like one of the things he put in place, he said, listen, When we're having an argument or having a conversation and it's getting heated and it's something, we're going to just throw any old word out there. So we pick like pineapple. So like if we're talking and it's getting heated and I'm about to, I just say
Yeah.
pineapple. We do is we stop talking. We give each other a few
We
minutes.
got bad. We got
Huh?
bad reception.
Right. Is it? Hello?
Breaking up. Um,
Are we there? Hold on for us, guys. I don't know if you're looking at me or not. Ooh, I cracked my back.
there
Hello?
we go.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
what happened?
I don't
So we're
know.
back. Listen, technology. We can't even explain it, but we're gonna keep rocking. That whatever gives us some time, we on it. But yeah,
Right,
like I was saying, that I'm very inspired by what you want to do and what you are doing. I cannot stress that how important it is for everyone to contribute to society.
right,
And we lock our folks away, and then we don't hear from them, and only the families hear from them. And some of them are gone for years, and when they come back, they're lost. So I
right,
think even just the connection with the outside and talking to someone who is particularly outside and getting, making this a place where people will come and talk about things that are for the people, the form that currently impacted. I don't think
right,
there's something like, and so
right.
I'm definitely inspired by that. That was so you were talking about meeting your husband. So you met this great
Mhm.
man,
I did.
and yeah, you met this
I
great man. And
did.
so how did fighting for freedom, what made him wanted to we're gonna talk to him next week, but I
Right.
want to hear a little bit of like what do you think was so heavy that he wanted to start this space from behind the walls?
Well, initially, he wanted fighting for freedom to be okay. So let me say, he's been fighting for his freedom for a very long time. When
Mm-hmm.
I initially met him, he had only had 30 years. He gave his sentence back. They took his sentence back, his life sentence off of him, left him with 30 years, and he was trying to get out on the 30 years because it once you do so much time of your 30 years, you can come home.
Mm-hmm.
So the state appealed the judge's decision to take his life sentence back from him. So I met him when he only had the 30 years. We got married when he had the 30 years, and we was hoping that he came home that February. So he
When did
went.
you marry?
Say it
When did you
again.
marry? When did you
In
marry?
18,
You said
in 18, 11/30/18.
so. You married in November. You thought you married with the thought that he would be home in February.
Right.
Okay,
Exactly.
got it.
And
Mm-hmm.
then so his court was postponed, and so he didn't go to court in February, and they only
Mm-hmm.
postponed it a month later. They postponed it a month later. That end of that March or the beginning of April, when the state's attorney's office appealed it and they gave him back his life sentence. And I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. And
Wait a
so
minute.
I
Wait a
say
minute.
that
Slow down. So he had life without parole. Am I
initially,
correct?
yes.
Initially.
Hmm.
So they were so the state did he
So when
appeal it? How did he get the 30 years back? How did that happen?
initially he was offered 60 years for the crime.
Okay.
He did not take the plea deal, went to court, and his first case, the first time he went to court, it was what do you call it? It was not thrown. Was acquitted. So he
Hmm.
went back and they tried him all over again, and that's when he got the life without parole because he didn't take the
That's
plea
when he
deal.
got convicted.
Right, and he
So
got
the
life without parole.
acquittal, they didn't believe and they had to go back. Wow.
Well, it was a lot of stuff that I guess wasn't right. Of course, I didn't know
Okay.
him during his time.
Okay.
So once he was convicted, he got life without parole plus 30 years. That was his
Wow.
sentence.
Hmm.
So he went through prison. He was in prison doing his time. And then at some point, he said, you know what? I need to fight to get out of here. And he started his fight prior to me meeting him. And when I met him, he had already given his life sentence back. All he had was 30 years, and he was trying to get out on the 30 years. So when he had a court date that February after we got married, he thought that that was it. And we both thought he was coming home, and so did his attorney. Get
Mm.
the court, and it was postponed to that March. So
Oh
March, he
wow.
went to court, and the judge asked his attorney for something. He said, "Look, I need this information. Send it to me." And when she
Hmm.
did all of that in April, I believe the beginning of April, that's when he got a letter that not only was he not getting out, but they gave him back his life sentence. So now he's back with life without parole plus 30 years. And I was devastated. I'm like, what? Like who? What? Wait a minute.
How do we
So
callously do this to people's lives? How do you wow. How do you just
so
legislate someone to life
right.
somewhere? That's hard.
So we
Damn, but
just
go ahead.
fighting and fighting and fighting. So he wanted to just get his case out there. He wanted to get his case out there and say, listen, this is what I've been doing. This is what I've accomplished.
Hmm.
So that's how he started to
Hmm.
fighting for freedom. But from me meeting him, he would always talk about fighting for freedom, fighting for freedom. And um
Hmm.
that's where the name came from. So it wasn't something that we just popped up with one day. So when we said,
Okay.
let's do this fighting for freedom thing. And I said, okay. So we were talking on the phone one day and he was like, babe, do you think you can do a podcast? And I can just present my stuff, just present my situation. Let the judges, maybe the
Hmm.
judges look and see I've done this, I've done that. So I was like, I can't do a podcast on all the other million things that I'm doing. So he was convincing me that, we can do this. And I'm like, okay, like how we can put this
Hmm.
together. And then I said, you know what? I'm gonna reach out to the lady who did my interview with Teresa. He was like, you still got her interview? I said, yeah. I said, she just interviewed me. And then he was like, what do you think she'll? I
For
said,
the
I don't
for
know.
the February, yeah, you were my
Right, right. So I said, all
Black
I can do
History
is
Month.
ask.
Yes.
Right. Yes. I said, all I can do is ask her. I said, I like her. She's really cool. Let's see if she's willing to do that. I know her podcast isn't necessarily about this, but maybe she can help us and show us. No, that's what he said. He said, well, maybe he can help us and show us how to do this podcast thing. I said, oh, maybe she can just do it. Let's see if she would be. And
Mm.
then that's when I presented it to you. So as we
Yes.
started molding this and seeing how we could go, he was like, you know what? I want to help other people. I don't want this just to be about me. Let's make this a space where everyone can come and talk about their accomplishments, because I'm not the only one in here that's doing, the things that they're supposed to do. I'm not the only one in here who's, went to school, who's doing positive things in prison. It's not just me. So let's showcase them too. So then it went from him just putting his stuff out there to us opening the doors to whoever wants to, come on and showcase themselves.
Hmm.
And that's how it started.
Wow.
We have
So
been
that's
talking,
how it started.
yes, we have been talking about this for a couple of years. Maybe not necessarily a podcast, but doing things for fighting for freedom. And one of the things that we had talked about was, like I said, when we started our business, with the products and services part, he was like, it's a guy in here, if not that person here, but another person who really don't have a family to go home to. We can provide those type of living for people. Like his goals are huge.
He's an
You
entrepreneur, baby.
girl. Yes.
He's an
So
entrepreneur.
so with us, years going by or whatever, he was like, babe, we got to do something with this fighting for freedom. I'm like, okay, well, let's do it. And Miss Queen is providing that space for us, and we are gracious. We are so thankful. We are.
Well, you know what, guys? I will say we've been doing this probably for the last 2, 3 months.
I
Is
would
trying
say
to
close to the three. We were just trying to figure it out how we can pull
figure
it
it
together.
out, perfect it,
Exactly. This
see
isn't
what's
easy.
best. Yeah, this is not an easy task. And that's why I tell folks, listen, we are looking for people who have consistent topics, who want to talk to the world. Because when you get on these streets, you go all over the place. But also that will be impactful for the community. So that's really important. Is making that impact in community, whereas people feel inspired. And fight for freedom is just that, is giving people who have no voice a voice. So,
None.
like, is it hard for getting? How do you get your guests? So, how are you farming these guests up?
So, like I said, he's doing all of that on the inside. So we came up with us orchestrating this and trying to figure out how we're going to do it. Like,
Hmm.
we want to create a good, comfortable space. So once we
Right.
figured out what we weren't going to tolerate or weren't going to deal with, he said, let me just put it out there, see what guys want to come on. And the response of the guys were like crazy. I know,
Really,
yes, it's a lot of guys who want to participate, and even those who really don't, because they are really shy, bashful guys. They are. Um,
really.
Yeah, yeah. And even those people, the guy was like, I just want to help. I don't really want to go on. Like, but what can I do to help? And I'm like, well, why you
Hmm.
don't want to come on? Like, you got children, like we can tell your children, we can bring them in. He was like, what, we can do that. So when they hear that their family members can come in and you can hear their voice, you can talk to them. He was like, oh my goodness. So we had a really good influx of guys who, and we haven't been
Hmm.
so, you know, because we haven't put it out there to every prison just yet. It's just
Hmm.
two, and we still got a nice group of people. So once we get this rolling and this thing start to fly, and hopefully we'll get some women on here. We'll get some people from the community.
Yes.
We'll get some,
Yes.
maybe even some legislators, some attorneys. We really want to
Yes.
grow this so that we can help people in different stages of their
You
incarceration.
want to be a
It could
resource. You want to be a resource. So, yeah.
Exactly. And
Hmm.
that's what I said to my husband too. I said, we also want to give them something. Like, they're coming and giving us something. We want to give them something. Like, if
Yep.
you struggling with
Yep.
this or you have this is a resource you can go to. We just don't want, us to take get from them. We want to send them away with something as well. And even the listeners, someone who might be in the situation and who is going through this and they don't know, let's say, about life after release. That's an
Yep.
organization you can go to, and what they do is on a whole entire different level than what this fighting for freedom is. We definitely want to be a resource. Laws are changing every day. It is things that are changing
So
every
true.
single day. So you come here, we want you to learn something and walk away and say, you know what, I didn't know that. Thank you. Even if it don't help you, my cell buddy might know this, or somebody in downstairs. We really want to be that resource for them. Just
Oh my goodness.
yeah, we want this.
That's
We want this thing to roll. We want this to roll.
Yeah, we want it to pop. The goal is to maybe partner with the criminal justice system and make this a priority. When you hear your voice, there's a sense of freedom there. When you hear how you sound, when you're able to connect, when you feel like you're being seen. If you
Mm-hmm.
want whole beings, then you have to allow them to be whole. and
Right.
and so part of that is expression and communication and having socialization with people outside of your family or in prison with you. And so
Right.
this is the whole goal is to bring tentacles to the community.
There you
That's
go.
just
That's
that's
it.
totally the whole goal. And so fighting for freedom is that because the actual host is fighting for his freedom.
There you go.
And you better be damn sure his wife is fighting. You fight, you better believe she fighting too. And because this affects, and people say, well, but listen, everyone, I don't care what color you are, this ain't just black people, sweetheart.
Right. Right.
Everybody has someone they know or someone in their family who's been in prison or affected by the criminal justice system.
Yep.
It does not care about your color. It's a
It doesn't.
system.
It doesn't.
And it's retrofitted for anybody that get themselves put in it. It's hard to get out. I
It
promise you
is.
that.
It is absolutely.
And you're
It
gonna
is.
hear some stories about that. And so,
Yeah.
but let's take a moment and do a little advertisement here because we're gonna inviting people onto this joint. So
There you
Black
go.
Box Radio is absolutely growing, guys, and you can have a show. You can have a live, you can have a blog, you can have a talk show, whatever we will help you develop it. Um, Sister Davita can talk about this BBR Podmaster series. We've been in a boot camp, baby. We meet
Yes.
every week, and we go at it sometimes twice a week. So we become family. I mean, we really become family because we're really trying to bring authentic content to you. We're making spaces for black faces, and we're showing how the ordinary can be extraordinary. So
There you go.
listen, come check us out at blackboxradio@gmail.com. Drop us an email, put I want a show. I know exactly what that means. We will get in touch with you. Your name could be here, your picture could be here, and you could be a part of the Black Box Radio platform. Our goal is to grow, but with a network of people, not just me, not just Sister Davida and brother Yaya. We want everyone to grow. So please come and be a part of what we're doing. If you have some consistent content that makes sense, and we know that not everybody's on the inspiration tip. Some people out here doing other stuff. If it makes sense and it's not offensive, talk to me. Drop us a line. We will sure be happy to talk to you and do this development like we've done for fighting for freedom. Because I'm telling you, I've been in the trenches with this sister and this brother. We
Right.
we've been in the
This is
trenches on this
not
thing.
I want you guys, listen, listeners, listen. This is not easy. And even sitting here today promoting this and filling you guys in with all of this, we still do not have all of the T's crossed and all of the
Mm-mm.
I's dotted. We don't.
That's so true. We
Um,
don't.
it's a lot of work behind the scenes needs to be done. And I had no idea that it would take this much. I thought we would just come on here, blah 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 blah, blah, and then that's it. Absolutely not. And you need uh the support. You need the support. And the good thing about it is, with Miss Queen's help, it's probably 100% easier than it would have been if I was trying to dive into this by myself. So it's a great place to be. I'm happy I'm here. Come on with your ideas. Come on with your thoughts and make it great because we can.
You can. And remember, and it is fee based, but it's not a fee that's going to kill you. We have to
Right.
pay for production. We have to pay and ensure that you have a show, you're real, and we set up your social media around that. But it won't kill you. This is for us all to grow. We got to get in the algorithm. It's very hard to do it individually. We have to learn how to be resources together.
Yes.
There is something about unification. And what they say about snowflake. A snowflake is nothing but when a bunch of snowflakes together, they cause havoc.
Actually, you're gonna stop the
So
show.
So I know they stop. They start the show. So that's what I'm
Mhm.
saying is what we could do together is so much more than what we could do individually. So please
Yeah.
come, please hit us up at blackboxradio@gmail.com. But again, new and growth is a beautiful thing. But when you're growing and you're growing in a very individual manner or a very selfish manner, it doesn't last long. Fighting for freedom is not that. It is a place where you platform other people who really are powerless.
Mm-hmm.
If
Yep.
you look at the grand scheme of things, they don't even control their stream. That can be cut off at any time. Their
Anytime.
voice can be muted at any time. They have a lack of control, and we want to, even still within that lack of control, give them space. You know what I'm saying, Sister Davita?
Yeah, I do. I do. They lock down at any minute in the morning. They wake up, they be like, oh, they just cancel rec. We're not going anywhere. It's so debilitating at times, for them. And
Hmm.
of course, people might say, well, they didn't did this, they don't need that. They are still people, they are still human. And if your loved
Yeah.
one was in there, you would want some grace shown upon them. We're not asking for, you know, steak dinners and silly posturepedic beds for them to sleep in. Um, we just want fair treatment. Being away from your loved ones and going away to prison is the punishment. So being in prison and being treated unfairly should not be, united with the fact that they already away from their family, their loved ones, and you have to use the bathroom with somebody else. Like, that's just, come on. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So being in prison is the punishment. You want to punish them even more. So with that and all of the other unfair treatment, we want to show that despite those conditions, despite those things, you have some men and women who are growing beyond measures in there and have a lot to contribute.
And that's beautiful. So kind of tell us, as we've been here an hour, kind of tell us, like, what have you come across? Are you inspired by some of the stuff you're hearing from the people you're pre-recording, because you are doing some pre-record? So how do
Yes.
you feel about the, like, your content?
What I've learned, and to be perfectly honest with you, I feel like sometimes I'm not even doing enough. Some
Mm.
guys in there are doing a lot. They are doing
Hmm.
great things. And with restrictions, like I said, they only get to go to the library once a week. And sometimes
Ooh.
that's taken away when situations happen. If it's a
Yep.
code, if it's something happens, it gets stripped from them, and they are still able to go to school. The good thing that the prison has supplied with them, they have tablets. On the tablets, they have a plethora of educational things that they can do. You can watch
Okay.
TV and stuff on there. And some people still just want to watch TV, but then you have them brothers who dive in and get no certificates and they're rolling. I'm like, well, what is my problem out here? You
Huh.
know, what is my
But we have
problem?
a lot of distractions. See, that's sometimes when you control the
Yeah,
environment, you can
yeah,
control the movements. Yeah,
right.
yeah. And
So
that's
that
why a lot of us ain't doing nothing. We distracted by the bunch of junk we're
exactly.
doing. Yeah.
I'm like, wait
Yeah.
a minute, I gotta get it together. I'm like, you did what? You did
You
what
got
now?
47 certificates? Doing what?
Right. I'm like, what? I'm like, I can't even finish the cybersecurity course. Like, let me get it together.
I can't
You
even
know,
do the lawnmower course. What you talking about?
exactly. I'm
So
like, okay, no. And and you praying 5 times a day. Like, my goodness. You
I'm
know,
telling you, yeah.
you done
And
did your five. Like,
the
yes,
first
I
thing
have to
someone
get
will
it together.
say is they got all the time in the world, but yeah, they do have some time in the world, but they don't have to use it. They don't have to use it to
Exactly.
better themselves. That's what you got to
Even
understand. That.
but see, when you look at it like that, let's say that they got all the time in the world. So if they got all, what do we have? Oh, we
Uh,
absolutely have all the time in the world, and we
yep.
still not doing the things that we supposed to do. We're
Mhm.
not. So
We're distracted for sure. Believe
we
that.
are
We go
definitely
out.
distracted.
We doing all type of foolishness. We traveling all over. Yeah, we doing a lot of stuff. And
Exactly.
exposure is good, but we're not doing a lot of things that we could do to
Right.
mind build. We're not
Right.
building
Yep. And
any
and
mindsets.
one of the conversations I had with one of the guys, I mean, the conversation went so far to a place. We were talking about um things like how Republicans became Republicans and Democrats. But I'm like, how do you know that? Wait a minute, let me Google something. I'm like, wait a minute, let me, like he knew, like, why are you there? Everybody do things, everybody do this. You're there and you have this type of information in your head. You know these
Mhm.
type of things. I'm Googling. So yes, they make mistakes and they paying for those mistakes, but it's some really smart individuals. I had a conversation with a girl. She was like, if they so smart, why we in there? Why they in there? I'm like, so you've never made a mistake?
You just
Like
ain't
you
been caught.
right. I
Just
said, you haven't made a mistake. How you gonna be so judgmental of this guy whose situation, anybody's situation can change in a second.
yes.
So judgmental of what they've done and they're in prison is just a negative stigma, like
Yeah.
then not, and I'm not judging her. So we're talking and I'm explaining to her because we started talking about the business and things like that. And then she was like, but I don't understand. You dancing with somebody in prison, whatever. And I'm sitting here talking to this young lady who don't own anything. Like me and my husband, we established this business with him behind bars, with him being in prison, and that was his vision too. Let me not take that from him. That was his vision. He came up with the name. He came up with what he wanted to do. He facilitated it. We worked on it. We got it. It's been up and running for a year, and we've accomplished this since we've been married. And she has 4 kids, 4 baby daddies, and don't even own the Buick she was driving.
Ooh. Mm. But
So
but that tells you she's distracted too.
And I
She,
didn't want to throw that on her, you
hmm
understand? But I'm like, how can you be so judgmental of someone who's trying? And, you know, and I'm not saying you're not trying, but yes, he might be in prison and those things, but he's thriving and he has a business and you don't. So,
and you're out here. And
yeah, right. So I just said thank you
and
so
not
much.
only a business is flourishing. I mean
So
that.
I said thank you. I thanked her, for
Hmm.
her input. But what's crazy, let me tell you something about God. My grandmother told me a long time, you don't have to tell people you're right. You don't have to. You say your piece, and sometimes you don't have to say anything. So when I
Mm.
thanked her for her input and I thanked her for the conversation, because it was a good conversation, she came back to me later and asked me for the business information because one of her friends' husband is Muslim and he wanted to go on the site to look. And I was like, well,
And
thank
that's
you for that. Right. And
look
I
at
mean,
that.
right. So, yes, we have, what's the business? Alkiema
Yes. Okay.
Products and Services, ALQIYAAMAH. Y'all got that?
No, it sounds like
A,
you had a hard time getting it. Wait a minute.
exactly.
Sound like you didn't know how to spell it. What's your business, miss? What is it?
It is. It is. It is. It's
What is it? Uh
A
huh.
L Q I Y A M A H. Alkiema Products and Services LLC. That's it. So alkiema.com is the website. I mean, if you put that in Google, it'll come up and you'll see it. And we waiting
So
for some
that's
more.
ALQIYAAMAH.
Yes.
Look at you.
Alkiema, which means resurrected
Okay, that's
products
beautiful.
and services.
Alcam project
Products
service
and
and
services.
service. Because I'm putting it in the chat. Or and
Mm-hmm.
it's lkemma.com, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Where you can see the clothing. And what are the products? Can you tell them a little bit about
So
what you guys
right
sell?
right now we have thobe sets, some with pants. We have the camises that don't have the pants. We have beads. We have the prayer beads. We have the kufi hats. We have prayer rugs. We have 2 different styles of those, and we
Hmm.
have the full garb for the women that come with the hat, the head covering. They get a belt and they get the full garb, and most of the those sets are $50. Well, actually, all of the those sets are $50. If you get just the camis without the pants, they're 40 or 45, depending. The women, their full garb is 50. The prayer rugs, we have $10 prayer rugs and $20 prayer rugs. The beads are $4, and the kufi hats are 10. And I'm waiting for some products to come in now. We're waiting for a shipment of the azars, which are the wraparound things that the men wear. And We are trying to get the oil in bulk. We're trying to get the oil for whatever prisons who will get them. Some prisons don't let them get the oil, but we can. We've donated to. We've donated oil. We've donated kufi hats to some prisons, and we're working on doing that too. It's a lot of brothers and sisters in there who, um, can't afford certain things. So we have donated kufi hats to one prison. We donated some oil to one, and we're going to do that again. We're going to do every year. We try to do a donation to one of the prisons. We usually write into the chaplain and just say we want to donate like 100 kufi hats because we did that before. So in addition to us doing that, we also donate. We are also going to try to do next year a back to school giveaway. And he'll probably talk about this when he comes on. But his son was the firefighter who was killed in the fire in Park Heights last year. Um, and when he come on, when we do the show on Sunday, he'll talk a little bit about that because he want to do something in his honor too. I don't want to take that from him. I want him to, to be able to talk about that. So it's other things that we're doing in the community too to sort of give back in that way as well. We want to
Beautiful, beautiful,
yeah, yeah. We want to get
beautiful.
like some hats and gloves and stuff and just send them to like different elementary schools for those kids who might come and don't have socks, don't have hats and gloves. So some things that
Gotcha.
we're working on, we're definitely giving back.
Okay, so you're doing some community services, and you guys have products that, if you are a Muslim,
Right,
yeah, the clothing, the garb, you
right,
sell that. I put that on the chat, guys. Please, Black
right.
business. This is something that we have to hold our Black
You gotta
businesses up.
support us.
So
Yes.
so so if you know anyone who's a Muslim or who wears that type of garb, please get on Al Kiyama. I'm not even saying it right, and I'm not gonna mess
You
it
is
up, but it's in
Alkiama.
the Al Kiyama. It's in .com. It's in the
Yes.
chat, the comments. So please check out their website and purchase. And so, fighting for freedom is going to be a thing, guys. I just do not hope that you sleep on this dog right here, because this dog about to bark.
Yeah.
And so you see, it's coming
So
soon. Stay tuned. Fighting for Freedom podcast will start on 10/20/24. This is the place where we're going to give the voiceless a voice. Safe space for anybody currently impacted by the criminal justice system. Please, what should they email you, sis?
the email is fighting for the number four freedom at myyahoo.com. You have any questions? If you want to vibe, just talk about some things, please email me. If you have someone who is impacted and you think they might want to come on the show, I can send them a application, and just reach out to us.
Okay, and give them that email one more time and make sure they know it's fighting
Fighting,
for. Mm-hmm.
IGACING, for the number four freedom at my Yahoo. That's important, guys. Fighting for the number four freedom at myyahoo.com.
.com. Please get in touch with them. As you see, next Sunday, and this podcast will be on every third Sunday. So you don't have to look around. You don't have to find. Every third Sunday, you're going to get Yaya and Sister Davida. They're coming
Yes.
through.
Oh,
So this is, and then with the guests, and they're going to have something interesting. Something that's about the currently impacted. It might be legislation they're talking about. It might be a legislator.
right,
But we will have some people who are actually behind the walls. We are facilitating that, getting that so they can be platformed and they can speak in real time. And when there's a problem per se in the prison or in the system and they shut everybody down, we got some pre-records, baby. So
mm-hmm,
listen, you're not going to stop the flow.
right.
We
The
just
show
going
must
to
go
keep the
on.
show. Yeah, the show going to flow, whatever. So we will have some pre-records where you can hear a person talk about their story. And even, Sister Davida might get some questions in that's pertinent for the whole community. And she does a presentation on that and talk about something that someone wants to know. Like she just gave me the school was between the jail and the prison. I had no idea. So,
Yeah,
that's why you come to, we wanted to disseminate information because I thought jail and prison, I knew they were different, but I didn't know that the jail is the pre-dog before the
right.
big dog.
There
which is
you
the
go.
prison.
Right.
And so you only learn that from folk who know. And so I think a lot of times when we're out here and we could do what we want and we can get in our cars, we can do anything, we make choices and impulses, we forget that others can't.
Right.
And so this is a space where you can see the plight of another human, and
Yeah.
it's important for us to be able to expose to that for sure. So last thing, what kind of impact, I mean, I've kind of heard it, but what is the impact that something like this, or your intention, Yaya's intention, your intention, what is the impact of this thing, fighting for freedom?
We want, so let me start by saying this because I was having a conversation with someone and I think I gave her the impression that I don't want people in jail or things like that, which I don't. I want people to change their way of thinking, to change their way of living. But until you're
Mm-hmm.
in someone's shoes, you don't know what you have to do to support your family, to feed your children, and things of
Yeah,
that nature. Mental illness is real. Mental illness
very real.
is 1,000% real. And there's people out here walking around with it being untreated and don't know how to live with it. So some of the decisions that people make aren't really
Mm-hmm.
decisions from their heart, you know. So with that
Mm-hmm.
being said, um, you do the crime, you do the time, you know. But for those people who are charged unjustly, who are sentenced unjustly for a life sentence without parole plus 25 years, that is ridiculous. I believe that everyone grows, everyone change. You know, you don't put a plant in a pot when it's a week old and 3 years later, you think that plant ain't gonna come out that pot? Absolutely. People are the same way. We grow, we learn, and we move. So this space right here, I want people to be able to come here and show their changes. I want them to come out. I want them to be free. I want people to hear them. I want people to come here with all your negative thoughts, all your negative comments, all your throw away the key and listen to a person who has lived in an ugly, nasty place and is shining and doing the right thing and deserve the chance to come back out and show that what they've learned in prison and what they've accomplished in prison can be done out here. They can grow more, change society, and just make this place a better place. That's what I want fighting for freedom to do. I want that to be that long trail all the way down, just like the yellow brick road. And that's fighting for freedom.
Love it. Love it. Listen, that this thing is going to have an impact. We're going to work real hard at it.
Yes, we are.
Uh, this is something that when I started Black Box Radio, I always wanted to help. It's all about service, and so this is another service that we're providing, and I think this is a service that people, who especially who are the folks who are receiving it, I think they're going to be very grateful.
Yes.
um there's a lot of grace in this to facilitate this because you guys are actually paving the way. You're paying for the process.
Mm.
So when you pay for the process for someone else, that's service right there, baby. And so I say to you and Yaya Ashe. And you're doing the damn thing. And we're gonna get this thing up and running. We're gonna have some live feeds where you can hear these folks. And when a lady come in and say you got 30 minutes, you gotta get off, you got 30 seconds and and you gotta get off, don't you say a word. That's real time.
Yep.
That's real
Yep.
stuff right there. Allow that to go down because we doing stuff real out here. This is not a simulation. This is a presentation, baby. And
Yes.
so
Yes.
I want you guys to know that this is the final. This is 10/20/24 Fighting for Freedom podcast, streaming monthly. Actually, you're not third Tuesdays. Ooh, third
No.
Sundays.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thursday.
that's a mistake. At third Sunday. And what time is your show? Because I even think
It's
this is a mistake. Look at them sent me some wrong stuff.
it's
The
okay.
show 7
It's
p.m.
every, yeah, 7 p.m. every third Sunday at 7 p.m.
Okay. So we got to make sure you guys know that. So we're going to take this right off the screen because this is loud and wrong. And we don't do loud and wrong. But so it's every third Sunday at 7 p.m. Fighting for
Right here.
freedom right here on Black Box Radio. Hit us up on YouTube. We will have the graphics out so you can see particularly what we're talking about that week. So we're going to try to make sure that we know. But listen, things can change. Remember, we are not
Yes.
controlling the feed. We're controlling the conversation. That's it.
Right.
That's all we got control of. So listen, sis, leave the jewel. Yeah, yeah. We are bring it's coming, Yaya. I listen, I want to say something about Yaya. I don't know this man. I've met him over the phone. Um this sister here, I got a relationship with her, but him, I haven't met him. I haven't even seen him just via picture, but he seems to be such a smooth soul, like a real
Yeah.
grounded man. And I just am so honored to be able to bring something that would help him and help others. And I'm so honored that you guys approached me. And I just want to say thank you for this. And we're gonna work hard at making this blow for sure.
Yes.
For
I'm
sure.
excited. I'm
Yeah, I'm
excited.
excited. So leave the jewel. You know you gotta leave your jewel. So leave a jewel and let's get up out of here for the people.
Okay. So one jewel, and think about this. You never, ever, ever want to be remembered for the one bad mistake you made. You so much more to that. It's so much more
Mhm.
to you. It's just one piece of the puzzle. There's the jewel.
That's the jewel. You're so much more than that, eh?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Listen, guys, fighting for freedom. It starts 10/20/24 every third Sunday at 7 p.m. Come through. I want you to get in that chat and
Mhm.
definitely check out alkiyama.com, get some
Yeah.
products because
Yeah.
these products and the way that they do their business is fueling what they're doing here. They're providing a space for folks. So please, let's support their business. Let's support this podcast. Share it, like, share,
Like,
subscribe.
subscribe.
Like, share, subscribe. Put this thing in the algorithm. Get on every Sunday, every third Sunday, and put it in the algorithm. Tell your family about it. If you want to come on Fighting for Freedom, what should they do, sis?
If you want to come on to Fighting for Freedom, go to our email us at fighting for freedom, the number four freedom at myyahoo.com. Fighting for freedom, the number four at myyahoo.com. And, let us know who your loved one is. We'll send them an application and we'll work to get them on the show.
That's it.
That's
That
it.
is
That's
that is
it.
it. Fighting for Freedom is coming to a place near you very, very soon. YouTube, 10
Yeah.
20 24 7 p.m. Yaya's gonna be in the building. You gotta meet Yaya, guys. He don't
Yeah.
talk heavy, he don't talk loud, but when he drop them jewels, y'all gonna be spinning. so sis, listen, I just appreciate you guys facilitating the space and working with me as we work with the kinks. This has been a beautiful experience. We
Yes.
almost there. We are
Yeah.
almost there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Listen, black boxes, y'all have a good night. We up out here. Let's get them deuces, sis. Peace. We're gone. Have a good night, guys.
Good night.
Good night.